Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for your patience with us on this one. We got the links and everything sorted out for joining the studio, and we have Azeem with us here live. So, just wanted to get going because I know we're running a little bit late on this Friday morning, but I hope that everybody's gearing up for the long weekend. At least I know there's a long weekend in North America. So. Welcome, Azeem. Thank you so much for your patience on this. Full disclosure, I did send him an old link in the meeting invite, so that's on me. I'm sorry. Okay, so today's episode, we're going to kind of start diverging a bit from Sarah's and Azeem's series. So I just want to make sure that we call that out because they're headed down some different paths now. So Azeem is working with his CTA program. So we'll start to focus on that with him. And of course, that wouldn't apply to Sarah because she's done a different journey. So welcome, Azeem. How are you doing? Thanks again for your patience.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. So, pleasure to be here again. And yeah, like you mentioned, very excited about my CTA journey. I'm halfway through. Actually, today in the afternoon, we have our section number 6. So, we will officially be halfway mark on the CTA journey. And it's really exciting and kind of eye opener for me. Now I regret why I cannot join earlier because it was almost 2 years I kind of qualified for the prerequisite, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just doing cert after cert. I was going in another route with my golden ticket, but now
Mm-hmm.
since I joined and I'm halfway through, it's really enlightening and eye-opening experience for me. And I think I cannot thank enough you, Chris, Glenn, and Paul McNair, because all three of you encouraged me to join, and now I think I made the best decision of my life. Huge
Mm-hmm.
shout out from my family side as well, because my wife also encouraged me to go for that, and she was supporting me all the way. So yeah, it's really a pleasure to be in that program, and really excited about the outcomes.
Well, that's awesome. We're very happy that you're part of the expert programs. There's now 3 certifications with it. I don't know if you saw that, and an accreditation. So there's now a workflow architect, I believe, which is the third certification. So that's CMA, CTA, and then the workflow one. And then there's ArcX, which is
Yeah.
an accreditation, but is a great way for people to kind of check out architecture if they're new to it and go through it. I know a couple people that have gone through it and they loved that program as well. So make sure to check those out. Zooming back, I guess, then to you saying you had qualified from a certification standpoint a couple years ago and you regret not going. I kind of disagree with you a bit there because you did have that golden ticket and spending 3 months on CTA is a little intensive. Have you found it to be intensive?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And right now, what we are finding challenging is that all the group we have, 5 members, all of them are professional. They are working in the industry. So for us, it's hard to make up that group study time at the same time, because everyone is in different countries and different time zones
Hmm.
to agree on one time. Sometime we are studying late night, sometime very early in the morning. So with your family life, with your professional life, and then coming together, and I think kudos to everyone, because everyone tried to take the time out for their commitment, and they are getting
Hmm.
together, get that done. And it's very interesting in a way that one big case study, and based on that, every week we have different scenarios, and based on those scenarios, you work together, create the presentation, get it ready, and then so not only it's a bit challenging, but it's exciting as well. You learn new aspects
Oh,
of the platform.
yes, yeah, and that's one of the parts that I enjoyed on the CMA as well. So I'm glad to hear you're having the same experience. So given that it is an intense 3 months, and I don't think you could work full time, do CTA, and also do some mainline certifications, do you still would you have still gone ahead and burned like 3 months of that golden ticket and joined CTA earlier?
No, actually, I would not, because
Okay.
right now, through my golden ticket, I have completed two more certifications, course completion, but I have not have the energy, or not even energy, not have the time to write the exam, because I am so much devoted and committed
Hmm.
for the CTA program, and it's taking a good chunk of time from my daily life. I about It's been 7th week if we add the kickoff program. So it
Hmm.
it changes my sleeping habit for now for the 6 7 weeks, because
Yeah,
I have to study, and then I'm not used to taking like 1 hour naps or afternoon naps, but sometime now for my study I have to do that. So yeah.
that's fair. I do like my naps too, when I can get them in, but sometimes you just can't. So that's interesting. Yes, that you've taken the courses, but have now had to delay the exams because the time commitment on CTA is, like I said, it's intensive. And during the CMA kickoff week in July, I got asked on the panel as one of the questions to say, like, is it really 10 hours a week? And I went, no, it is not. It's really about 20, because, like you said,
Yes.
everybody's working. So we had the same thing with our group work, where two of the group out of the four could meet, Friday afternoon. Someone could meet Saturday morning, and someone else only had Sunday night available. So I was happy to hear they've kind of modified the CMA assignment piece for groups, because what happened for us was that we would get the group assignment Friday after our Friday session, and it was due Monday morning. So now that they've started to assign it out Thursday, which kind of gives you that extra day of coordination and stuff like that. So, okay, let's go into a bit on your application process and start from, if you could, start from the beginning, meaning what did you have to get any certs or anything in to even just apply?
So thank you for CTA program. There are prerequisite. You have to have a platform experience. I think it's 3.5 or 4 years of verifiable
Mhm.
ServiceNow experience. That means like you had your Now Learning account from 4 years back. You have done some courses, and also the prerequisite for certification is that you have to have certified system administration certification, your application developer certification, and then two implementation certification. And also, not only if you have done those certification in the past, they have to be in current state, like you have to have your deltas given and up to date. And even after you get admission in the CTA program, you have to maintain those prerequisite certification, because even if you lose one of the certification, then your CTA designation will be taken away from you. So that's the thing. So once you apply, before that it was that as you apply, as the seats were available, it was given to you. But now with the huge demand of this certification, actually starting with our cohort in which started in July, and we put up application around April. um, Now there is a lottery system. So the application process is open for a week. As many candidates they would apply to it, and then after that, because in one cohort it's only 60 people being taken, and so they'll run a lottery system, and then whoever gets picked. And I think I recall my conversation with you when I got
Mhm.
enrolled and I was not sure, and you told me because it's lottery system. So while you got in, just go for it. And I went for it, and now I'm so glad and thankful to all of you guys in the senior people in the ServiceNow ecosystem, that they are very helpful. They are guiding, and they are giving the right advice, which is the like I'm very grateful to everyone.
Oh, well, that's great. And it was, a little early for you, but that lottery system was a key factor that we did consider because you did have the minimum requirements for the certification. In fact, you had more than that. I believe you have enough. You could have applied for CMA as well with
Yeah.
all of your certs. But like you said, the lottery system, when we did discuss it, really played a factor because who knows in the next cohort if you're going to be picked. And before the lottery system, it was, a mad race. Like some people said it might have been easier to get Taylor Swift tickets than it would have been to get into that CTA program. Because at one time, I believe they said it filled up in less than 2 minutes. So all
Yes.
those 60 slots were gone. And if you couldn't click the button fast enough, or maybe you were in a different part of the world and even your internet latency could have played a factor. So I'm glad that you lucked out and got that lottery draw and then seized that opportunity. And I've seen you do this throughout your entire career that while we've been working together is that you come into some of these opportunities and you draw the most possible value out of them, and you even drew some more value out of that golden ticket with those two other courses, and now you're going to delay the exam till after CTA, which is super smart.
Yeah.
So how let's go back then to week 1 of your CTA program. Can you describe that feeling that you had that first meeting?
So it was we received a welcome email, and then we got the cohort member's name and email. So then what I was looking for, like anybody who's from Canada, I was trying to send them email and try to reach out. Then on the first introductory week, then we went on the call. They gave us the like welcome speech, and then they told us what to expect, what to not. And then we've been put in the separate rooms chat where we have no control on it. Our group was randomly chosen, and then we've been put into that group chat. So that's where we it was 10 minutes, 6 members, and then we've been given 1 minute each to introduce ourselves. That was kind of an icebreaker for us, and then we immediately got connected. And I love the enthusiasm, and everybody was excited about this program, and everybody want to know each other, because now for 3 months we would be working very closely with each other, helping each other, pumping up each other for our presentation. And so it was like a bit scary in a way, that you always have that sense of scare, like what ahead of you. But then on the other side, it was excited as well, that you meeting like-minded people. Everybody is trying to achieve what you are trying to achieve, and it's like a win-win situation for everybody, because you as a group have to deliver your group project, and then everybody has their interest in it. And I remember that week third, I did the presentation from our group side, and then I was surprised that I was working on the presentation. I was given task, and we say we will connect on Monday and see how the progress is. But we created a WhatsApp group chat, and then everybody was sending me different slide, different material. Hey, I was reading this and I found this interesting. Can you look into this? Can you add this? This is related to our case study. So it's like a feeling like everybody wants you to succeed, everybody wants you to win. So it's a great way, great feeling. And then teachers are very approachable and nice, like they are available even offline when we send them email about some questions. Even on the every day on the every sorry Friday, when we do the final presentation and we do the live present to the whole cohort, so many like different and valuable insights come from various people of the groups, because some topic you feel you are not confident about that, or you are not knowledgeable, but somebody
Mhm.
will be on the call, jump in, and they would answer the question on your behalf, and group discussion. So it's like a very great and learning, like enlightening experience for me, as far as where my journey is. Yeah.
That's amazing, and I'm glad that you're having that experience. That kind of mirrors mine as well with the program I went into. And if you're considering one of these expert programs from ServiceNow, like Azeem said, it is a true win-win situation. Well, you're working with a group, you're in a cohort. There, the goal is that everybody passes the first time, and the program really drives towards that. Do we see that in the end results? No, but it isn't like there's out of those 60 slots that Azim's got in his cohort, it's not like there's only 45 that are able to pass. There's room for all 60 people to get through and be successful. And that kind of removes some of the competition element of it. There's no bell curve. There's no, 10% have to fail or any of that stuff. They do really work with you closely to play on your strengths, help you improve your weaknesses, and get to that point where you stand your best chance to be successful. Okay, so that was an
And
interesting first week. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
And actually, our cohorts, our CTA program cohort is the first one to go. They changed the program format at the end. Instead of presenting our capstone to three panel of CMAs, we will be presenting it to AI, the software, and we have three
Mhm.
attempts to present, and we will get immediate feedback. So that is change. And now once you go through your presentation portion, then there is an exam. So our group is the guinea pig for that CTA cohort, that we will be the first one to go through that AI presentation. AI will be mark our presentation case, and the first one to go and write the exam.
That's news to me and super cool that ServiceNow has this motto of quote drinking their own champagne. So when it comes to leveraging AI, I know that it's a strong sell right now. They're also leveraging it internal in the organization and now even in those expert programs. So that's really cool. And uh, make sure to check with the program leaders because I would really love to discuss that after you take it, in a general form, just understanding what is it like to be tested by AI. Because in my experience, it was just a meeting of three panels. I've seen panelist invitations still go out for CMA exams, so perhaps you're almost the first test cases, and they may move that over to AI for CMA and the workflow one as well. So that's great. That's so cool. How do you feel about being tested
Yeah.
by AI? Does that make you more nervous, less nervous?
So right now, it's cool in a way that right now our weekly assignments, which we have, we also present to AI. So I on week third, when I did my presentation, I was very nervous. So minimum you have to get 80. So when I prepare my presentation, I did the first attempt and I got 84. So I was in green, means even if I have
Mhm.
submitted that. So until our deadline, we have the option that we can attempt as many uploads as we want, and they are
Mhm.
encouraging us to do that because once you submit one of your video, you get feedback from AI, and it tells you how many filler words you have used, how many meaningless words you have used. Where I was confident when I was looking at the screen, it also gives you feedback that on for me I had a topic for technical governance and instance strategy. So it tells me when I was on technical governance, this slide I was trying to rolling my eyes, and I was trying to quickly go through that slide, because it
Hmm.
feel I was not confident enough to present that. So then I took that feedback, rehearsed my presentation. Then I did the second attempt, and I went to from 84 to 91.
Nice. That's
And then,
awesome.
yeah, then I took the second feedback which I got on 91, and I re-rehearsed it, and then I resubmitted my presentation again, and I got 97. So then everybody was
Wow.
satisfied with my group. They say like 97 is good enough. So then that was our
Oh, that's
final
good
review.
enough. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That so yeah, during the CMA program, we did also upload stuff and have AI review it and provide the feedback, but the test part was never an element from my experience. So I
Okay.
they did measure the filler words and give us kind of an overall score on certain things, but it sounds like they've taken it even a step further with your cohort, which is amazing. And that's how quickly things are changing in this industry. Because when I was going through it, that was January to June 2023. And here we are a year and a little bit later, and now it's fully AI tested. So that speaks to the pace that not just ServiceNow the platform works at, but also the pace of change that ServiceNow the whole ecosystem operates at. So that's very cool. And 97% is quote good enough. So please, if you're going through the program or considering it, know that yes, there are very high standards that you may have with the group, but don't feel that you'll need to hit that mark to get through that week. Like you said, 84 was sufficient in that piece. You got the feedback, but you kind of went over and above there. And there are a high degree or a high rate of overachievers in these programs. So we saw the same thing, and I kind of fall into that bucket myself. I really enjoyed hearing how you talked about the rehearsals and trying again, because I believe that's something that everybody needs to do. Even at myself, going through a presentation myself, even if I've done it several times or and many times and I know everything off by heart, I still want to rehearse it 2 or 3 times before I deliver the presentation to ensure it's smooth, to ensure I've got proper pauses, that I remember to stop and ask if there are any questions, make it conversational. So you're doing the same type of thing, and that's very cool to see that you're rehearsing, getting an improvement on the feedback. I was lucky enough to come in with Toastmasters behind me, which helped reduce those filler words, the ums, the ahs, the likes, things like that. So I'm comfortable leaving a bit of a pause where I need to, instead of saying and putting in those filler words. You'll get there too. You don't do it that much anyway, so that's awesome. Okay, so now you're knee deep in the
Uh,
groups.
with
Oh,
with my three attempts with the AI, I went from, I think, 13 or 14 filler words to 2 filler words in my whole presentation. So, which was good. So,
yes. Yeah, two is a great number. I mean, even 13 is not too bad on a 10-minute presentation, because you're talking thousands of words here to go through. So that's a very low rate. So now let's talk a bit about the group piece of the cohort. Now for CTA, is it a group? Are you a part of a group the entire time that you're in this program?
yeah. So once they choose the group, that group will stay towards the entire cohort of the program. So um, everybody get to choose their group name. So we choose ourselves now nerds. So
That's
so
a good one.
that will be for entire cohort of the program. So great group, great mixture of various experience. We had one person who's a CMDB guru, one is the service delivery manager, one is senior technical solution architect. So it's variety of experience, and that help us a lot during our presentation or different topics, which help us to put their expert insight for us to get through our weekly projects. So, which is really good.
Well, that's awesome, and it does, yeah, highlight just the breadth of the experience. Like you said, there's different people with different journeys in ServiceNow, different specializations, some technical, some perhaps on the delivery side, which may not be as technical, which is totally okay. I mean, in our program, there were people that were way more technical than I am, way more technical, and they flourished as well, at just like we had people that were had very little technical experience that was current, and were more on the sales side, and they were great as well. So the program really does unify and speak to that breadth of knowledge, that breadth of experience, and enable everybody to unify on a common thing. It's almost kind of like the CSDM of now learning, I guess you could say, right? We get on that
Yeah.
common services data model, and we're all speaking the same language. Everything's communicated to the customers in the same fashion, using the same language, and with the same presentation level. So that's great. So you're knee deep in the groups, which is nice. To today's your halfway point. If you could go back and tell yourself anything on day one, what would you tell yourself?
Uh, the expectation, I same like in the beginning, which you mentioned that you asked the group that 10 hours is sufficient. So I had that in my mind that maybe 10, if they are saying 10 hours, maybe 15 hours required. But anybody who's joining CTA or plan to join, my advice is that they set aside at least 20 hours a week. It's not only that you just need to study just for the past purpose, but they give you a lot of reference material which can help you along the way with your ServiceNow journey. And then set aside 3 4 hours of a week for that. So because not only you studying just to pass that particular program, but that insight which they give through the reference material, that also open up your mind. I throughout my ServiceNow career, I was working in the towards the client, like end user on the other side of the fence wall, I would say, not from the delivery side of the service now. So what I felt that now in this course, when I have to go to the partner portal, now create customer success pack, and then I have seen that material, I never came across that type of stuff before in my service now career. And now when
Mhm.
I looked at it, it's kind of eye-opening experience for me that wow, this type of things or material exists, or this type of support from ServiceNow exists. And actually, I have to disclose on the call this today that joining CTA journey, it helped me discover my career path, and I aligned now my strongest side my career journey, and now I know what I want to do in my ServiceNow career journey. I was always idle guy, the process guy, and I was banging my head on the wall and see where I would end up. And now I know that I discover myself that I can be a best ServiceNow functional consultant, process designing, and that's now my career path, and that's now I will focus on. I was never uh, trained to be a coder. I was never a coder. I was just doing the development side of service now just because that was part of my job, or that's where I landed. But I
Mhm.
never had that like energy or that type of focus which I can do the coding. And now I found the path that I know where I can be best. I can align clients' business processes to service now, and I can be a best functional consultant. I discover myself during this CTA program.
Well, that's great to hear. I know that this speaks to people that are wondering, is it right for me? And that there's a really wide thing that you can go through when you go through the CTA program. So even if you're feeling a bit like you're looking for your direction or your next step, kind of like Azeem was, going through a journey like this can help you find that and identify, okay, this is my place now within the ServiceNow ecosystem. This plays to my strengths. This makes me happy to do this type of work. Of course, there's still going to be struggles, but it's trying to find the happiest place, I guess you can, in the ecosystem while still getting the work done. So that's incredible, and it makes me so happy to hear that part of the program included that personal self discovery, so that you can now kind of focus on a new path that maybe not a bit, maybe wasn't revealed to you before, and perhaps wasn't available just because of your past experience. I do think, though, that you've used all of that past stuff, your ITIL training, all of that knowledge, because you're an ITIL master, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the highest level of the ITIL training. You've given the courses as well, but you're using that to help drive the foundations of implementing, or your process consultation piece within ServiceNow. So you've just taken your ITIL bits and have kind of added more specialty to them, and targeted them in ServiceNow. So that's amazing. So you've got some great feedback for yourself as well, that on day one. How are you looking into the rest of the program as you go through the halfway point today?
So actually, next week will be our last technical presentation, week 7, and after that we are jumping into more delivery of the project, customer experience, and customization and that type of stuff. So I would say the hardest part of the course is 1 week due. So after next Friday, we will gone through the like extreme techie point things of the course will be done, and it will be more like employee center, customer experience, user experience focus, and really looking forward to that because that's the stuff I enjoy the most and I'm comfortable most. So I think the hard work is done now. Now it's like the one really focusing on the next ahead steps ahead which are coming, which I really will be focusing and enjoying on it. So throughout, it's like a very amazing journey and great experience. And anybody in the ServiceNow ecosystem, like we mentioned that don't shy, apply. And then like how you mentioned, Chris, that some if you're not technical, you might be a sales side or the process side of it. That still
Mhm.
gives you the in-depth knowledge of this platform, that what this platform capabilities are, and how you can match up to your career if is you are going as a functional consultant, business analyst, or ServiceNow project manager, or service delivery manager, or you want to be a high tech, very technical developer. Still, it's there is something in it for you.
Well, that's incredible. And you kind of, during your application process, went through a few things that I did as well, where we were both told you're not ready by some people. And that really can start you off on a foot where you're not as confident. And I know that we had some discussions about it, saying, and you had kind of felt like maybe this wasn't your time, maybe you should apply another time. Is it worth the investment? You were concerned also, like you said, because you're not that heavy into the coding. You were concerned about going through some of the technical weeks and not being able to keep up, or maybe having to invest a ton of time and energy to get to some sort of minimum bar that other people were at. um, our journey, when I went through it for myself, I basically had to have a whatever it takes attitude. And I kind of just said, I will just do whatever it takes to make up any gaps I have and keep up with this program. But then, once I got through, the first couple months, I realized that everybody had gaps in certain areas, and they all had to make those gaps up. And I had some gaps, and in some areas, I was well ahead of everybody else. So that's just the natural part of the program. Now that you're in it, I know that you did have some of the same self doubt that is totally normal and totally natural. Do you still feel that way?
No, actually, I feel confident, and one of the thing which I took as a challenge that on week 3 I took technical governance and domain separation side of presentation, and I never come across that scenario in my career. I never seen that. I personally took that week as a from my group because I wanted to learn about that, and I thought
Hmm.
this would be the best way for me to learn. Because if I'm not comfortable on something, so what we did as a group, that we chose one group which we thought we were expert on that side, and one presentation we took where we were least. So I took that domain separation and technical governance side of presentation because I never came across that scenario in my life, and I wanted to
Hmm.
learn about it, and I took that as a challenge, and it went really well for me. So same thing. I would encourage that this program will gives you your strength and your weakness. And personally, like how you said, Chris, that you challenge yourself, and there is nothing, because we all start at some point, and
Hmm.
if we tackle our obstacle right in the face straight ahead, I think that's a great way to learn yourself and educate yourself. That if I'm not technical or if I'm not comfortable in one field, I took as a challenge and I tried to did, and I did really well, and I'm so proud of it, how the things went for me. And same thing, I would encourage that. Obviously there are different opinion, and I would appreciate the people who showed me the concern about my that I'm not uh, maybe ready for it, because they have
Hmm.
their own insight. But I think then as a person you have to make your own decision whether this is right for my career or not. And then
Hmm.
if you willing to take up the challenge, and I think nothing is impossible in this world, everybody has to start somewhere, and why not that somewhere is this. So that's what I thought in my head, and I say okay, fine, I'll take this challenge. And I'm glad, and I said in the beginning that I cannot thank enough
Hmm.
Chris, you, Glenn,
Oh,
Paul,
of course.
who kind of gave me on first hand positive experience. They told me that go for it. This is where you want to be. So why not now instead of waiting another 2 years or so? Just go for it.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
remember Paul told me that if you have been uh, done that many certification and you studied hard, so this should not be hard for you, so just go for it. So I'm glad I made that decision.
Good, and I'm glad you did as well. Part of the key factors that I considered when giving weight to some of the opinions that both of us received was, has this person gone through the programs? And in some cases, it was a no. So the other piece was, do how well do I know this person? And I did not know them very well. I'd had several interactions with them, but I wouldn't have said, "Oh yes, I've worked closely for 3 months with this person." So it was them not have gone through the program themselves, and also not working closely with me laid into how much weight I gave those opinions. And those that were encouraging me to go through, I did work with for significant amounts of time, and one of them had gone through the program and said, "Yeah, go for it." So that was kind of the same thing that we did with you, was also evaluate those same key factors. And it's okay to for some people to have those opinions. I'm not saying that they're not entitled to have their own opinion. They totally are. So it was about how much weight do we give that opinion versus the contradicting opinions from other people that may have had more experience or worked closer with you. Okay, we'll do one more question before we end. So you had said it's about 20 hours a week for it. Can you break down how those 20 hours are allocated just so that people get an idea of the flow of the program on that weekly basis?
So Friday we have our live cohort session for 2 hours where
Mm-hmm.
we get to introduce the weekly topic, and then uh, two instructors are on the call. They give their own insight, and then they ask if we have any questions. So we ask that question. Then that particular week material get assigned to us. That material which gets assigned to us, it's about 4 to 5 hours self study. It's
Mm-hmm.
a different topic. Then other than the topic, there are some resource material which we have to study for our group uh, case discussion. And then in the end there is a quiz, so you have to have 80% marks in those quiz. Answers are
Mm-hmm.
not given, it's only tell you right or wrong, yes. So then if you had a wrong answer, then you note it down, you go back during your study material, revisit that topic, and then come back, rewrite the quiz. So about 4 to 5 hours goes into that self study piece. And then we at the beginning of the program, we've been given a big scenario of this is a company which trying to implement service now, these are the challenge, this is the outcome they need, given the background of the company, what type of department they have, what challenges they are facing. Now based on that, each week we've been given a topic on that. This week, as a ServiceNow technical architect, you are going in and you are doing this assessment and you are implementing this portion of ServiceNow implementation. And every week the case audience also changes. Sometimes there is a product owner there, sometime architect is there, sometime project sponsor is there, and they want to prepare our case study based on that particular scenario. And then what we decided as a group, that Friday evening we are given our group topic, and then we have to do 5 hour self study. So we dedicated the weekend for ourselves, that we study,
Mm-hmm.
we pass the quiz, and we read through the and then we make our notes, and then we reconvene for 2 3 hours on Monday evening. Then Monday evening, we reconvene for 3 hours, and then we decide as a group that who's gonna go for Friday presentation. Then
Wow. That. Oh,
we
sorry.
break the
You're not
session,
done.
and then Monday. Then once we decide this person is going to be presenting, then we give that person uh, one more day that he gather his material. And then what we do, that any supporting material if we came across during that 24 hour, we also gather that. And then we had a shared Google Drive for our group we created, where we upload in that particular folder the supporting material. And then if I upload something, then I message on WhatsApp group to my partner or whoever is presenting, that I found this interesting material, may be helpful for you, do that. Then we reconvene on Tuesday, and we have at that time, we as a group decided that at that time we would have some rough sketch of presentation. And then we review why we have this slide, or why we are doing this, why we not doing this, if something is missing. Then next day, Wednesday evening, we reconvene again, and our goal is that
Wow.
at least 80% of our presentation is kind of ready.
Yep.
Then that's and then Thursday is our final connect, where we have midnight deadline, where we have to upload our presentation. At that time, our colleague, whoever is presenting or I'm presenting, I would have done
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 dry runs of that video and uploaded it for feedback, and try to overcome on that feedback. And then that's our final meetup as a group, where we give final okay to our group member that that's fine, go ahead, do it, submit it. And that's where
Nice.
they do the final touch and submit. And then Friday morning we have peers review where
Yep.
everybody watches our video, give the comments and stuff, and then in the evening we have to present the final to the cohorts.
So, yes, that's very intensive, but that also speaks to the quality that you'll get out of the program. And that continuous feedback loop will drive personal improvement for everybody because everyone's different perspective kind of meshes together. It kind of becomes a great melting pot, and then you're able to draw the best information out of it. Well, this has been very encouraging for people. We've got some comments, like Gildan has said he's been following your journey. It's truly incredible. And Anila said that it's an amazing journey and thanks for the encouragement. So you're now inspiring other people with your journey, which I think is fantastic. And this is what the ecosystem needs more of. There's lots already, but it could always benefit from more. So thank you so much, Azeem. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I apologize again for some of the delays on starting it a little late. We have that all sorted out. Next episode should be a lot smoother. But thank you again, Azeem. Best of luck for the next month in the presentation. You know, you can reach out directly to me for anything you